Welcome back to the Silver Grappler channel. Today we're ranking the best BJJ guards for older grapplers. We're going to be breaking them down into tier lists so you know which ones to focus on as you refine your game.
Get ready, pansies!
I'm so excited to get into this. I've been wanting to do tier lists forever, to be honest. What do we got here? I got like 18 different guards. Are there some other guards that I might have missed? Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple I've missed in here for sure. If there's a guard that you'd like me to review in the future, put it in the comments. Happy to give you my opinion on that. But I've got the major guards in here, and let's jump into it. So, you know what? Let's just jump straight to the close guard, okay? It's the first guard everyone learns. You can use it in gi and no gi. You can use it when you're 5 years old. You can use it when you're 70 years old. We've had so many famous people using the close guard. It's still a popular guard. Today, we've seen Hodger use it on a regular basis. You know, people knew his close guard was coming, and there was still nothing they can do about it. Here is my challenge. To me, it's either, for the older grappler, it's either an A game or an S game. A game, obviously, it's top of the food chain. S is you can't live without it. Is it your primary guard? What's the negative? Why am I not jumping to the S right away? To me, the hardest part of close guard is getting to close guard. So you kind of need a system to get you there. You might need some other guards to get you there. But that said, it is perfect for the older grappler, and why? Well, how else are you going to maintain that younger grappler? You know, when they're spazzing all over the place, or they're just really fast and really strong. At least in your close guard, you have a little bit more control. You know what? I may actually change my mind on this, but just to get the ball rolling, let's put it in the S tier. Now let's get into a couple obscure guards here. Actually, yeah, here's one. Reversed close guard. Not hugely popular. Seems to be happening more in no-gi as of late, but I've seen people get into this position. I've been in this position not on purpose in the gi. There tends to be more foot locks associated if the person on the bottom gets to it, but it's funny, I've been there on the top, and I've squeezed out a couple of knee bars there. I don't think it's a go-to. So honestly, is it something you should be actively working on? I would say no. It's really, do you want to drill it? You know, really, unless you're trying to be tricky. I'm very close to being in the avoid category, but it's nice to know about. But it definitely isn't a go-to guard, especially for the older grappler in gi or no gi. What do we got here? Let's see. Oh, Octopus Guard. That's a real popular guard. It's emerging from a gi and no gi perspective. I do find myself going to it when I'm stuck in certain positions, when I'm stuck in my butterfly or stuck in my half guard and I want to try something different. I also use I use it when I'm in a turtle position, and there's a sweep that you can do where you turn your turtle into an octopus guard, and there's a nice sweep there. Now, there's a couple guys in my gym that are really working it, but I don't see this as a primary guard. I do think it's more important to know than this reverse closed. But is it a B or a C? This is more for you. If you're a smaller guy, I'm gonna put in C for now. If you're a smaller grappler, this might not be the best move to you because you really kind of need to get your hips and you need to really explode into it for it to really work, especially against a bigger opponent. If you're a bigger guy, or on the bigger side, this might be something that you want to consider as a primary guard. I don't see it at all, at all. Um, let's jump to 50-50. Oh, 50-50. Mendez brothers, it's still something used quite a bit. My beef with 50-50 is from a gi perspective anyways. I felt that it killed competition jiu-jitsu from a gi perspective. It actually changed the rules. It changed the way points are given for the double guard pull, and now you have that certain amount of time first one to sit up gets the advantage. You have a certain amount of time. If either of you don't get up, you both get a penalty. If you the problem I have with it is you get stuck in this position in the gi, because in the gi you can't do heel hooks. You're sweep back and forth, back and forth. There's a couple ankle locks there that you could do. It's always a thing in no-gi because it's a beautiful heel hook setup. It's definitely a good go-to as far as no-gi leg locks are concerned. Is it something I recommend for the older grappler from their beginner perspective? Absolutely not. I might get in trouble for this, make people unhappy, but for the older grappler, I would say avoid it. I'm not going to give it a D or an actual avoid. Uh, but okay, yeah, closer to avoid. You need to be familiar with it. You do end up in that position in no-gi, so you should at least know how to defend your heel, uh, or counter heel hook your partner or opponent. But as a go-to, I'm gonna drill this every single day. I'm gonna jump and get the 50-50 and work from there. I don't think it's a go-to for the older grappler, especially the beginner. If that's something you want to fool around with more when you're a purple or a brown belt, then that's up to you. Let's jump to Turtle. What is that guy's name? I used to study. Oh yeah, Eduardo Tellus. Eduardo Tellus was an interesting character. If you guys have not heard about him, I do recommend. I'll probably be showing, as I'm talking here, one of his videos. What he actually does, he pulls turtle, where he'll drop and go to the turtle guard and turn it into attack turtle. I actually do this quite a bit in the gym just to get really good at the turtle guard. But should it be your primary guard? No way. No way. It's one of those guards you're just going to end up in, just because you're escaping another position, you're escaping a bad position, you're on the bottom and your opponent got side control on you and you're escaping out of that. You're going to running man. You're going from running man to turtle guard. I do think it's something worth drilling. I do think it's really something everybody needs to get good at. I'm going to put it as a B. Again, not from a primary guard perspective, but definitely as an older grappler, you need to drill this thing. You need to drill how to protect your neck. You can drill, there's actual submissions that you can do from the turtle. There's sit-outs, there's regarding. If you're a turtle guard player, it's super easy to sit out of this thing and get to your butterfly guard quite easily. So not a primary guard, but definitely something I truly believe the older grappler, whether you're small or huge, you need to get good at a turtle guard. Actually, there's a really huge there's a huge purple belt in our gym. Super cool dude, super cool to roll with. He'll go quite often to the turtle guard, and as soon as you kind of reach over, he'll get a little piece of you, and he'll throw you right over. So for those really big guys, you actually have to watch out for their turtle guard. Here's one, spider guard. All right. My pros and cons of the spider guard. Very effective guard. Super hard on the hands. So unless you have grips of steel, it's probably not your guard if you have delicate, computer hands like I do. I do think it's one of those guards you need to drill. I'm probably going to put it on a B tier. The negative, it's obviously not no-gi. You can't use spider guard unless you're holding the wrist. So I guess it is possible if you're going to do that, but that's not really super effective. Maybe as a sort of you're transitioning between positions and you're just trying to control and you're using your feet to push off of the guy. But I would probably put one foot on his arm and one foot on his hip. That would probably be a better alternative. I do think it's something people should work on to at least respect it, to know how to counter it. But I do know some guys that make this their entire life, but the practitioners who make this their primary guard tend to be more on the gi side. Again, I like to spend most of my time 50-50 gi and no gi. Summertime, love the no gi. Wintertime, where I am, there's lots of snow and it's cold, so I appreciate the gi in the wintertime. So that brings us into Lasso Guard. Very similar. I like the controls better with the Lasso Guard. I'm going to put it on the same level as the Spider Guard. I think they go hand in hand. There's no question. Being a pure Lasso player, but at some point you're going to have to lasso and control the guy and be able to bring him really close and then stretch out that other arm. Again, super effective. Lasso even less effective in no-gi, but it's worth spending time on. I don't do it as much because, again, it just takes so much gripping. What drives me crazy is it's not their fault, but you get guys with super tight gis and some of them go into competition. Yeah, you have the legality part of things, and it's probably a little easier in IBJJF where they have that measuring thing in the sleeve. But a lot of local competitions and within the gym itself, it's tough to train because guys get like super tight gis, and man, it's a pain in the ass to hold on to the gis to be able to work these type of guards. Let's go with, okay, here's where I'm going to get controversial. De La Riva. Good old De La Riva. I could tell you right now, there's gyms that totally devoted to De La Riva. It doesn't matter if you're 4 years old or 75 years old. That's all they work is De La Riva. De La Riva is a great guard. You can do obviously a little stronger in the gi, but there's a beautiful game that's being developed right now in the no gi, and a lot of guys are using it at the pro level. Actually leads into some very, very cool leg locks. Not for me. I do find it a little more difficult to control and to hold on to that angle. I do find it hold on to the ankle. I do find it challenging when you're a smaller guy doing it against a bigger guy. If you have long legs, De La Riva is definitely something you should be working on. Everyone needs to drill it. Everyone needs to understand it. Everyone needs to be able to defend it. Man, I'm torn because I know so many De La Riva guys. I am gonna put this into A tier. Again, for me, not my favorite. I tend to drill it a lot more to have a deeper understanding so I can counter it. But I do know some old guys in their late 40s and early 50s that are just masters of the De La Riva and do a really, really good job of it. Again, changing up their grip on the gi on the bottom and how they're controlling that leg, how they're controlling that ankle, or using their whole arm in no gi. Just nice controls there. I'll leave it an A. If you're a newer white or blue belt, I wouldn't say it's the recommended one to go. Again, unless your school is like totally devoted to it. But if they're not doing it a lot, I wouldn't jump to it as my primary guard. But if your gym is doing it a lot, or you fall in love with it, definitely spend a lot of time. I don't think it's really a good white belt or blue belt guard. I think it's something you identify in your middle blues as like, hey, this might be part of my game, and you start spending a lot of time on it. But at white belt, I think you need to focus on more of the fundamental guards. So why don't we dig into that then? Half guard. All right, I'm going to start by saying this is an S. To me, this is a no-brainer. Half guard goes, and all the variations of half guard, the knee shield, and so on and so forth. There's just a ton of different half guard systems. To me, it's a critical guard that you need to understand. Goes perfectly with closed guard, goes perfectly with butterfly guard. If it's your prime guard, there's a lot of attacks, there's a lot of sweeps. But what to me the half guard is, it's a transitionary guard. Okay, I teach this to the kids, I teach it to the adults, and I tell you, you cannot sleep on the half guard. It's also one of those, as a transitionary guard, it's one of those guards that when you get out of a bad position, what guard do you normally end up in? You end up in half guard, because it's the easiest one, where you clamp on a leg and guess where you're at, gang? You're in the half guard, right? You can decide from there what version of the half guard that you want to get to, but as soon as you clamp on that leg, it's called a half guard, and you can transition to close guard, you can transition to butterfly, you can push off of the hips and transition to spider. It's just such an important guard that you guys need to be working on, just like the close guard from day one. If you're an older white belt, close guard, half guard. If you're an older blue belt, close guard, half guard. From there on, you're going to start specializing, but you're never ever going to get away from the half guard. Okay, you might decide like myself, get away from the closed guard, but there's never any getting away from the half guard. So study it, get good at it. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Reverse De La Riva. That's a critical one as well. I'm gonna go same level as the De La Riva. It's just one of those ones you need to know. You need to be able to control. You need to be able to learn how to wrestle up with it. It's not one of those guards that you're going to get a ton of submissions from. You're going to more off balance and transition to a lot of other positions. There's not a lot of sweeps, right? But the stuff that does works really well. Now that I'm talking through it, I think it's more of a B. You need to learn it, but as a core go-to, I don't think it really is. Oh, I'm gonna pull to reverse De La Riva. Where the De La Riva, yeah, I'm gonna pull to De La Riva because I got a lot of options. Gonna attack the back on it. With the reverse De La Riva, yeah, you're gonna go burn bow. Oh, kiss the dragon and roll through things. I just think the difficulty level for an older grappler is too high to make this a core guard, because again you have to learn how to invert, and it's really tough the older we get to invert. So if you haven't been inverting for a long time, it's tough to work at. That said, I find myself there all the time against a standing opponent. I use the reverse De La Riva to kind of trap his shin to shin, and then I bring him down to me. That's the way I get those young guys. I get nice and close, and I bring it down to me. So it's part of my game, but as a core go-to, no, it simply isn't. This is Tornado Guard. Some of you are like, what the hell is Tornado Guard? This is Cyborg's Guard. It used to be a little bit more popular years ago. It's kind of half guard, pushing off to inverted. You need to be a bit explosive, and I just don't like it. I had to have something in the avoid category. I'm going to say avoid that one. I just don't see the benefit of spending too much time on it as a system, unless you're built like Cyborg and you've been doing jiu-jitsu for 20-30 years. I don't see much value. There might be a few neat moves here and there that you could adapt to your half guard system, but as a system by itself, it'd be something I would avoid totally. Speaking of other, and that's doable in gi and no gi, by the way. I've seen him use it in both systems. You'll notice the older he gets, the more he's not going to his old system. He still teaches it, but it doesn't seem to be as practical the older you get. Rubber guard. Man, I remember mastering the rubber guard was like the most popular. I'm gonna leave it in D right now, but I'm gonna redo this one in a second. I just studying the books, and everybody was working the rubber guard. I remember it was the trend. Everyone was doing it at the tournaments. It was so popular, and trying to remember all the names. I can't remember half of the names right now, but I studied it. I worked it. I had the flexibility back then. I don't have it as much anymore. But it became, people caught on to it. So maybe at a pro level, when you have those top guys, you still see some of them use it, like Geo and those guys, and anywhere from the 10th Planet system, they still use a lot of it, and they've matured the system as well. Unless you're primarily a 10th Planet guy, it's not the system you really want to use. As a day-to-day practitioner, people became very smart on how to counter, and really what you do is you kind of move up their body and move your head up their chest so they can't get their legs in and around your head. I still go to the rubber guard to get omoplatas. So I'll go from a closed guard, I'll open up the closed guard, I'll get my feet on the hips, or I'll open it up, one foot on the hip, and I'm grabbing my leg and I bring it, and I use it for omoplatas a lot. So when I fight a wrestler, it is something I'll do on a regular basis because they don't have the tendency to sit up if they're in a bad spot. They continue to push forward. It's like, okay, let me get out of the way and then kind of bring my leg over. And that's in the gi. I use it in the gi. What scares me about this one with the older grappler is I've actually seen guys pop their knee out where they're just trying to bring their legs so tight in, and then all of a sudden, right in a tournament, it was the grossest thing. I'm coaching my guy and he's going to rubber guard. I think at the time he was in his late 30s, and he was a bigger guy too. He was around 180, and he pulled his leg, and all you hear is pop, and I don't think it's the greatest guard for the older grappler. There might be one or two cool little moves that we might get out of it, but doing a good old-fashioned omoplata, you're better suited to do that. So the more I talk, the more I'm just going to put it into the avoid. Again, if you're curious, the 10th Planet guys still use this system. I'm not saying don't look at it, don't do it. You should take a look, but I don't think you should waste your time. I think there's a lot of other stuff that we could be working on here. What do we got here? That's the Lapel Guard. Oh my gosh. The lasso, not the lasso, the lapel, the worm guard. Yeah, there's still a lot of guys that use this, and it's smart. It ties you up. Top level guys are doing this. Practitioners are doing it. It's gi only. Obviously, you got nothing to grab unless you're grabbing the guy's hair or something. So it's a gi only guard. And again, it's really about grabbing the lapel, getting it in the way, wrapping it around your leg, turning with it. Great for sweeping, great for stalling, I find, because again, I got that wrestler's base. A lot of guys just sort of stall me out there, and they're kind of forcing me to get up and commit or get super, super frustrated. But I'm old, so I don't get super frustrated at all. I'll wait the whole round if I have to. I go, did I get my points to the takedown, or did I get my sweep? And then I'll sit there the rest of the match. Yeah, I'll say that. That's old man jiu-jitsu in a nutshell. So you should get good at it. Is it a primary guard? I don't think so. I'm going to put it in B. Why? Because again, you're an older grappler. You're just starting out, some of you, and you're like, what should I be focusing on? If you're doing gi and no gi, well, you need a guard system that's easily to transition between the two. Some of you are only training 2 days a week. Some of you are only training 3 days a week. Okay, so you don't have that much time, right? So you don't need one guard for no gi, or one guard system for no gi, and another guard system for gi. It's just it's too much to learn to work on. So one of my recommendations to older guys, and it doesn't matter how old you are, but if you're just an amateur and you're only training a few times a week, focus on a guard system. Okay, that's easily transfer. If you're only going to do gi, fine. But at some point in your jiu-jitsu journey, why wouldn't you not do no gi? Okay, like that's the beauty of our sport. It's grappling. It's whether you're wearing the kimono or whether you're on the beach. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? So you need to learn. You need to learn both. Now, if you're training 2 times a day, 5 days a week, and you're going to all kinds of competitions, great, have at it. You can learn as much as you want. You can mix and match a bunch of different guards. But this video's for the basic older practitioner. Okay, so I wouldn't spend too much time on it. Study it, but you don't need to master it. Okay, now we're getting into some groovies. Let me get one more specialty guard out of the way. Deep half. You can do deep half in no gi. You can do it in gi. I know schools who specialize in the deep half. Not for me. I do flavors of it because I play butterfly and I like to kind of go underneath, but I'm turning those into kind of leg submissions, or I'm trying to get to my X guard is really what I'm trying to do. But these deep half guys, again, it's a specialist thing. So if you don't know anybody that really specializes this in your school, or there's no teacher or instructor to really help you with this is a tough one to work. There's a lot of small mechanics at play, and it's tough for a smaller guy to do this to a big guy. You might get stuck underneath them. The self-defense side of this is pathetic. You're just going to get punched in the face there. So I just hate this guard. I personally hate it with a passion. I've been stuck there so many times. As a wrestler's base, I'm like, hey, what are you gonna do, man? I'm gonna crush your face. I'm just gonna force you. I'm gonna get my. It really takes a top guy to get the higher belts on this, but they're out there. This is a specialist. This is really a specialist, and again, you got to get good at half guard. So this is a subgenre of the half guard system. It kind of, I'm going to change a couple of things here because I'm not going to put this. Oh my gosh, yeah, with reverse De La Riva, I can't put it on the same level as reverse De La Riva. I can't even put that one on the same. I'll leave it there, but some guys are going to get mad at me. I see it as a C. It's a C or a B. It's almost like a C plus specialist. For me, it's a C or a D because I know so many practitioners that do it. And are successful at it, not against me. I'll leave it at B, but to me it's like a C. It really is, but I don't want to piss off too many of my friends here. All right, let's do single X. Bum bum bum. A or B. I'm a huge X guard guy. Truth be told, here's my system. Okay, I combine so many things, it's not even funny. Again, I've been doing it a long time. My system, most people say I'm a butterfly guard player. I call myself a half guard butterfly to X guard player. Why? Because I continuously transition between those four guards. Okay, I'm depending on the reaction of my opponent, I'm transitioning. I love single X. I think it should be worked on all the time. Is it an S tier? No, it's not an S tier because by itself it's super easy to defend. Okay, so you see that foot right here, you just have to push that off. And guess what he has to do? The person on the bottom has to typically transition to what? Who knows? Probably the X guard. Okay, and let me put it over here. X guard as a system by itself, Marcello made it a system. Again, Marcello did all three of these together. All right, Adam Wojcicki, he does the half butterfly. He does all three of these together. Half guard, butterfly. We're still not at the butterfly guard yet. So by itself, the X guard and single X are amazing guards. Amazing. Super hard for the top guy to really control the bottom guy if you get all the way into a proper X guard. Why? Because you're stretching them out. Okay, whereas in the single X, yeah, it's super easy to off balance, and there's a knee bar there. There's a couple of good transitions that you can get to. The full X, man, you can get the back. Oh, you know what? Now that I'm saying it, I'm going to put it here. As much as I love the single X, I'm going to put it as a B tier. Everyone needs to learn it, but the number of moves that you can do there is limited. But you'll typically transition to the X guard, or you may even go back to a butterfly, depending on the situation. Again, lots of different moves that you can even go to a lumberjack sweep. You can do, there's a bunch of different sweeps that you can do here, but as a full system by itself, I don't think so. X guard, yes. X guard, submissions, sweeps, so many different sweeps. You can get the back. The difficulty with the X guard is getting there. Okay, whereas the closed guard, you can get there relatively easy. Yes, you can use other guards to get there. So that's why that's an S tier. The half guard, you always end up in half guard. All you need to do is grab a leg and you're there. So you have to train it. But the X guard, you need to work to get there. But once you do get there, it really is a complete system, just like the De La Riva. Then the K guard. This is the newest, most popular guard right now at the pro level. It can be done. It's currently being done with it. Levi Jones is using it. Made famous by Lachlan Gills. It really is a cool guard system. It really is sort of that modern. Is it trending or not? Who knows? But a lot of people are using it in high level competition right now. I have trouble getting there. So from an older grappler perspective, I'm gonna put it in B. It's close to C. I'm gonna put it in C. Right? If you're a higher belt, older higher belt, yes, that's definitely a B. Okay, a solid B. Some of you may argue A, but I'll say solid B. But if you're just starting out and you're an older grappler, no. There's too many things that can go wrong with the way you need to off balance the person, the way your legs are hanging, the way your toes are hanging for counter foot locks. You really need to have a lot of experience in some of these other guards before you can spend a lot of time in there. So if you're a white belt or a blue belt, older grappler, I would not be focused on this as a primary guard. Maybe your instructor spends a few lessons on it. Great, learn it. You know, the more you can absorb, the more details you can absorb, the better. But as a primary guard, yeah, no way. Don't even bother. I'm loving it though. I love watching it. The way they're transitioning into the different footlocks, very, 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 very cool. Fun to watch. All right, and last but not least, the guard that I'm known for. I've been known for this guard forever. Used it in competition. I'm so biased here. I gotta go S tier, and let me explain why. Not because I'm biased. There's a lot of top guys that are using this. You'll see on some of the other lists. If you like this video, you can actually go watch the Flow Grappling version of this, where they're giving you kind of the pro version of the guard tier list, but I'm giving you sort of the older grappler version. It's a specialist guard, they say, but again, it kind of works into the half guard system. It kind of works into the single X guard system. There's leg attacks. There's arm drags, you can get the back. There's so many attacks. One of the reasons why people don't automatically put this into the S tier, the thought process is, well, it's easy for the person to get away unless you're really good with your hooks. Yes, but they're not thinking about the sort of the half guard butterfly system where there's a lockdown leg that really keeps that person locked into place until you're ready to attack. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a lot of videos on the half guard butterfly system as I really think it's of a huge benefit to the older grappler. The older grappler can start working on this at blue belt. White belt, honestly, it's all about close guard and half guard. Just spend your time there. Okay, if you're only training 2-3 times a week, those two guards are the ones you need to focus on. If you're getting into blue belt, where you're starting to look into specializing a little bit more, I highly recommend the butterfly guard. I do have a bunch of my older students in their 40s and 50s. I've got them working on the butterfly guard, gi and no gi. My instructor, who is an absolute phenom, Professor James, he's also he's not known for his butterfly guard, but I see him there all the time. And we had a conversation. He's like, yeah, I'm working more and more butterfly and transitioning into other guards, the single X and X. It's a really a great system. Again, leg locks, sweeps, back takes. As an older guy, you're getting squashed a lot, and having that butterfly guard really helps you deal with that aggressive young guy. What does an aggressive young person do? They attack and attack and attack. What do you want them to do when you're playing a butterfly guard? You want them to attack. You want their body weight over you. You want to get their hips as close to you as possible. The biggest challenge for the butterfly guard, again, is probably that outside game. So you have to make sure that you tie up with them. So there's our tier list, gang. But what does it all mean? Let's summarize. You must be masters of close guard and half guard. As you're kind of getting deeper into your blue belt, you should be really honing in on what your style is. Okay, what is your guard? I would experiment. Try the butterfly guard, try the De La Riva, try the different X guards, try the reverse De La Riva. Play around with some of these different guards and figure out what best fits your game. Again, with these sort of top 5 here, again, let's review it in case you can't really see it. We got close guard, half guard, butterfly, top of the tier. We got De La Riva and X guard as the A tier. Play around with these. If these work for you, you can continue to build it. If you find one of these guards down here working for you, that's great. You're becoming a specialist. There's nothing wrong. But from a generic perspective, as you get older, it's tough to do some of these very specialized guards because they require, some more explosiveness, more flexibility, or the ability to invert at ease, right? So the older you are, when you're starting out jiu-jitsu, the more you need to stick to the fundamentals. Okay, so I hope today's video helped you guys out. Leave some comments. Did I miss one? Did you want me to dig into a specific guard more so? I would love your feedback on these tier lists. I definitely want to do more of them. So thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, watch some other videos on the channel. I really appreciate you guys visiting. And again, your feedback is so important. Have a great day, everybody.